side. So I went back to boys, and now I'm coaching at Brown Deer High School. Yeah.
Hold on, everybody in here representing. Hold on.
Say socially distance, but I already started, so yeah. Don't know what number this is, but thank you guys for coming out and coming for my podcast. But we're just introducing ourselves. So yeah, this is Tyree Tucker. He just introduced himself. If you could.
I'm Shon Haralson. I'm the head coach at Bradley Tech. I went to Tech. This will be my 5th year coaching there. I've been coaching in NPS since 2012.
Okay.
So plus also teach at Tech. So
That's what's up. And we also have.
Alright, so I'm Minisha Howard. I'm a parent of an NPS student.
So I'm Diane. I'm the parent of an NPS student as well.
Okay. No.
My name is Shani, and I'm a parent of the MPS student.
Cecilia, Brookshire, parent of 2 MPS students.
And they're very involved with their kids, so also so this would be a good conversation. I think just about like why the city's why we're not able to have basketball, and why they're missing out a year, and it's like all how that affects everything. It's a lot. There's so many ways we can talk about it. So yeah, we can freely talk about it on like off top. So yeah, we can talk about it. Shani, I know you have a lot to say about it, but where are like some of the reasons you think it's unfair? Like what's going on like with why do you think it's unfair? Yeah, let's start off with that. Why is it unfair that our city kids don't get to play?
Because I was going to say it's layers to that. Because it's unfair, but there's also that lack of communication where they didn't even tell us why.
Right.
So there's 2 different things there. So the unfairness comes is that all the other kids are playing. We just have ours in the city that are not. So that's why you have that sense of unfairness there, where they have to watch their peers play, they can't. And then nobody's telling them why. That's just the bottom line of it. I mean, that's just the bottom line. It's really that simple.
I also think it comes down to what a lot of people don't realize, especially with young men and some young ladies, is that some of these kids just go to school for sports.
Yeah.
So when you take that away from them, you're expecting them to log in on the computer. They're not logging in on the computer anymore. You know, you taking the one thing that I really enjoy of why I come to school.
The reason why exactly.
Away from me. So now, what are you telling me? And then we're really pushing them ahead of adulthood now, really, because now you have to take care of some responsibility that you usually wouldn't take on.
Exactly. Yeah. So anybody else have anything?
Specifically, what responsibilities would you say?
Well, you know, I just got done working out in racing, and the kids now really are working. They're not logging in. They're working now. You know, so
they're working jobs.
They're working jobs. So, you know, you wouldn't take on the responsibility of working really while you're supposed to be in school at school time.
Because you'll be physically at
exactly.
school.
Yeah.
You'll be physically at school. Because these kids know, I might as well get a job. I ain't got to go to school.
Makes sense.
Kids sleep. They're not.
It's hard to get in gyms anyway, and hard to do stuff. And
like with me being a coach, and I've seen my grades drop dramatically in basketball. And my whole thing is like Shani said is, if you knew we weren't going to play, you should have prepared us as parents and coaches. Nobody wants to be strung along with anything. So not to sit here and tell these kids that I'll know something next week or we'll probably play in January, but in reality, we're not playing. And like she said, now they're looking at their peers working out practice. We got kids who are working, and on the worst case scenario, they're laying up with their boyfriend and girlfriends all day now. So now we're talking about babies having babies, babies babysitting, mom saying, well, forget school doesn't count. You got to go work at Walmart, which is not a real job. So we have all these scenarios that nobody is thinking about. And I honestly think it's selfish that you're not relaying information to anybody about anything as a parent, as a teacher, as a coach. And that's a disservice for everybody. Like I said, with me being a coach,
you don't even know what's going on.
I don't know what's going on. So that tells you a lot right now.
And the stringing along is still happening. They still haven't said it's canceled.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So you don't know what's going on.
And I think everybody would be fine if you said, hey, we're not having a season.
You have a plan to move on.
Like anything, like a relationship. You know what? I'm done with you. Cool. Like, we strong along.
But I think they still will have to offer a reason why. If everybody else is playing. So I don't think it's just
to say that. What do you think
dry.
are some of the reasons why? Like,
I don't know. That's why I want to talk to them.
Because there are not any too much restrictions. When you go to some of these games, I've been to some of these games where these other schools are playing, go through the door, wear a mask. They're not making you sit 6 feet apart, get to this game. They're not making sure your mask is up, any of that. I said, because I've been to several games and I'm like, texting my friends, like they got kids at MPS. They look at this bull. They don't even gotta, they're not making sure. Oh, I'm sorry. I went to one game, they made sure the home team was down there, the opposing team was up here, but we was all still close together.
Fans,
Yeah.
like that's still something to see.
So I think it can be, for me personally, I think it can be done. Well, we're playing at Brown there, of course. So, and what they're doing is they're making you get dressed before you come to the game. They all the team, we all ride different buses. You know, it's different things that happens. So with NPS, you know, they get a certain amount of budget for buses. Where's that money going now? You know what I'm saying? So it's all type of questions that go into play now, and you can afford to do it. We don't have fans at Brown Deer, but of course, when we go really to the real suburban schools, out they do have fans. They allow two parents per kid. I think it's possible,
Some of them,
but
Yeah, some of it's more than that.
I do think it's possible though. It's really unfair though that you have these kids that aren't able to play their senior year. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have a real reason of why it's not happening. You haven't came out and told people, or like you guys been saying, they've been strung along. Like I have really good friends that are head coaches all around the city, and I'm just like, man, I feel bad for these guys. I really feel bad for the kids because they don't understand it.
No.
They don't have any understanding of what happened. Why is this being done to them? And I put it like this: it's the rich are getting richer and the poor getting poorer.
I hear you on that all the
Yeah.
way.
I think it's MPS they don't want to take the time to make it work, and they don't want to put the money in. And it can be done, and I think they know it can be done. With me being associated with Prospect Youth had a youth football season this summer. They used MPS's football fields. MPS let another program use their field, but they won't let these same kids use the field with their schools, which is a further frustration to me. And out of the season, there was not a single person that came down with COVID. Like on that team, my daughter was a cheerleader for that program. None of the cheerleaders came down with anything. They had restrictions. They did temperature checks on at each of the practices. There was restrictions obviously at the games.
They did what they're supposed to do.
Correct, and this was done these were done on MPS football fields. But yet my son who plays for Riverside, they were not allowed on MPS property. When they started practice, they were practicing at the lakefront. And then Coach Wagner for Riverside was told that they weren't even allowed, he wasn't allowed to even have the kids at the lakefront.
Yeah. And that's one thing I'm glad you said, because it's not just the coaches. I think some people think it's all the coaches just chilling, they're just trying to get the check or whatever. Like just like it's not even up to y'all. Like it's way above y'all
Getting
head.
the check.
Exactly. Like it's,
But what we go through, that check is
yeah, it's not worth it anyway. Y'all don't even have a plan. Like they're not even communicating with y'all really to like so y'all can even create one.
It's just the sad part is like when I talk to like said the coaches that coach in Madison, they're getting 75% of their checks still, and assistants are getting 50% of their checks still, just because nobody was prepared to say, hey, I need to get a second job, I need to do anything else. Like nobody was ever prepared. And to go back to like she said, it's crazy that we can't work out, we can't have weight room, we can have twilight, we can have
I was
rec.
just talking about that this morning.
We can have driver's ed
You got
in the
twilight and all
same
that,
building.
and you can't even work out. You can't do nothing, no workouts, nothing, no extra activities except like.
Yeah, so like shit, it doesn't make sense and it doesn't add up.
Well, and then Twilight also invites non-MPS students too.
Yeah.
So it can be done. I mean, I think everybody at the table knows that
Because
it can be
you're
done.
silently telling our kids, well, you guys don't have a season, but you can help our numbers with Twilight. You can help our numbers with Red. Yeah, that's like a slap in the face.
It is.
It is.
You know,
We be having little programs and everything, like, oh, come and do this,
And that actually makes it more
this and that,
dangerous.
so.
Sorry, but that actually makes it more dangerous because that's not a controlled group of kids. You can have different ones in there every single week.
Yeah, I
So
worked
so the rotation that's coming through there, that's not as safe as you saying, okay, let's take these controlled group of kids that we know that they're on the team and playing
Right.
and got the grades to do it.
Cause it's not like COVID be like, okay, it's 3 y'all in the gym
Correct.
today. I'm not gonna do nothing. But as soon as you get 4 or 5, like, oh, y'all got 2 more today?
Yes.
COVID for y'all. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me at all.
Correct.
I have 2 questions. One for you being like, your daughter's a freshman this year, so you're going into this new, like, how does it feel, like, to go into that and you don't know what's going on, or, like, no plan or anything, like, what does that feel like, or, like, yeah, what does that
Well, hers too, they both.
Yeah,
Right, they
both
both freshmen.
freshman? Yeah.
So of course I'm a basketball fanatic. Everybody knows that about me. And you know, when it happened to where they wasn't gonna play, you know, I was upset about it. And then I thought about how them being freshmen or how everything happens for you. Like you start getting to know your friends, you start getting to know who you are.
Yeah,
You
high
know,
school, yeah.
and you know, with basketball, that helps you. Like if you're a shy kid, or if you're this, cause like my daughter, she's shy, but she's not.
Mhm.
So it's like if I get to know you, okay, we cool. But to me, that's something that will get her up out of that, and she's missing all
Missing the
that.
whole grown.
She's at home, she's on that TikTok, whatever it is, and you know, and it's not the same as being face-to-face social.
Right.
Yeah.
It seems that they're missing that socialism that they, you know, that they would have if they were in school, or, you know, being able to play with their peers.
Right. Yeah, totally agree. Do you have anything to add to that?
Well, so for me, mine is a little bit different. Well, my daughter's a bigger kid. She's a bigger girl.
Mhm.
And for me, it's more than just her playing basketball. It's more of like getting the extra side, you know, being able, just because she's sitting at home. She can't go work out. She's not into, so she's gaining the weight that when we played basketball during the summer for AAU, she was on the move. She was getting, so now I'm just seeing her. Of course, you know, I go to work. What you think she doing? Laying there. She's not moving around. She's not doing any of this. So
It's not even like
then
she
you take
can
it, not
get
just
to
basketball,
doing
because she was
things
gonna play
on her phone.
volleyball.
Mhm.
It's none of that. So
All
you
of
just
that.
taking everything away. She's sitting at home. She's depressed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Mom, what can we do today? I miss going to school. I want to play. No, you can't. But guess what she can do? She can play AAU. We play AAU the full summer. Now, one of our kids tested for COVID. We were around 300 to 400 to 500 kids.
Mhm.
Probably each tournament they got tested, went in the gym, played, nothing. After we were done, we left the gym. So it's just a bunch of bull that MPS is giving us.
Yeah.
Well, and they just spoke to a lot because, you know, from freshman to senior, you talking about how she talked about the social aspect, there's a deficit there. The physical aspect, there's a deficit there. The emotional end of it, there's a deficit there. So we pulling our kids back a whole entire year, plus the year, the end of the year that they missed last year. They've been out since
Yeah.
March.
And on top of that, that's what frustrates me so much. It's like, what were the seniors supposed to do now? Like, who
Right.
missing out on schools, and then like,
Right.
who know, you know how kids have good years, like kids are missing out opportunities, so they don't got nothing else to do but find some BS to do or some
Right.
trouble to get in.
Yeah.
Like it's literally that y'all asking, like you just asking them to get in trouble.
Or
Like,
give
you're not
minimal
giving us no
effort.
opportunity.
Yeah.
That was like one of my biggest frustrations, even with Sydney Jasmine. Like, dang, they couldn't play junior year. Like, you know, she could have got who knows where, developed, you know what, your son could have had a good football year and got these many more scholarships, these many more offers, and they like,
And that's
Nobody-
even with her training every day over the summer. So, you know, they don't see that. They don't see, like, she going out there every day on her own, 4:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. She working. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And then you
definitely.
hear, okay, it might be a season. Okay, the season might be coming. Oh, well, we'll tell you next week. Oh, we heard it's happening. And that's not okay to do that. Like, it's just
and then
not.
this is all through like do you think it's the leadership pretty much, right? It's just all like, you think like what ways, like if she would see like better way, like she could communicate, because I know you are meeting with her soon Friday, but like
Oh,
is the lady, isn't it the head
Bobby
MPS?
Yeah, Bobby.
I don't know the name,
Oh,
I'm
you mean
sorry.
Robbie?
Yeah.
who she meeting with?
Wow, I guess not.
She didn't mean when
She's
Alright.
refusing. She's refusing to me.
She doesn't respond to
Do you-
emails.
do
She
you
will
think
not
it's
talk
like-
to parents.
Do you think it was the problem, like the way you guys like addressed her, or you
No,
just,
I
like,
think for me.
just
and
not
this
being
is-
fresh, she's not from Milwaukee, or she
No,
don't know
I think
that? Or,
I think the
Go ahead, I'm
opinion, my opinion is that, you know, when you make a decision, right, and that whatever that decision is, and you are hiding what the reason is, and everybody can see this is not valid. So it's one thing for me to tell you when you're not knowledgeable about the inner workings or what's happening. So you tell me it was a safety issue. So everybody started with all these rumors. They were fixing it for her. when you educate yourself about what's going on, I have really very direct questions to ask you. You can't tell me, well, it's a safety issue. What specifically is the safety issue so that we can talk about it? That's somebody who doesn't want to come to resolution. My decision is what it is.
I
Take it.
think a lot
And
has
that's
to do.
period, basically what she said.
I don't think she's qualified for the role. Like, great, she may have been a wonderful basketball player. She may have been an okay coach. But that,
Just put it out there.
but that doesn't mean she should have been put in a position. She never even ran an athletic department, but you put her over all of MPS sports. Like, I had an interaction with her last year because of how sports were being run. It was my son's first year playing at the high school level, and it was ridiculous. I was like, it's funner going to go visit someone in jail than it is going to a game. The way the games were set up, the way security interacted with you, they rushed the kids out, they were locking bathrooms during games, and so I had to reach out and tell her, like, some of the stuff you're doing is not legal, and she would not respond to me. I had to go to Posley, and when I reached out to Posley's, when she finally responded, and she basically responded, and her first thing was saying, her complaint was that I went to her boss. And so to me, like, looking at the situations last year and now how she's handling it this year, she's not competent for that role.
Yeah, it's more personal than it's just being.
I would say like it was bad. It was a bad way that what they did anyway as far as the hire goes. I personally think she should have just stepped into coaching. But we're talking about people that know our community. She doesn't know our community. She don't know our kids. I don't even like. I know I've met her through subbing. She subbed at a school I worked at. You know, so it was just like, how do you interact with children? You know what I'm saying? What's your reason in doing this? You know, you gotta have people that have a real reason in doing this and having a purpose of wanting to see it grow. I don't see her seeing this through. I see her, if she gets an assistant job at a Division I or something, she's gone. I don't see her being invested in it. So
I agree on that.
And like, I think Tyree hit on a key note is she doesn't know the community, and like, I think if she understood, like, she would honestly be trying to do more. Like, I've talked with Shani about this a lot, but conversing, I was like, Milwaukee's already the worst city in the United States to live for African Americans. We are one of the most segregated cities in the United States. MPS is now playing a role in putting these kids farther behind. And like, my son, who's biracial, I had him, like, I wanted him out of MPS for high school just because I knew how it was going to go down with sports in general. And he was enrolled in Dominican, Catholic Memorial, at Homestead. He was enrolled in 3 different schools. He wanted to stay at Golda Meir and play football for Riverside and basketball for Golda because he still wanted that diversity. He didn't feel comfortable with those other schools. But now he's sitting back and he's like, why would my own people keep me from playing? He now feels like he should have gone because all 3 of those schools, they're having seasons of play.
Different way to look at it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the kids are feeling that anger. You know, everybody know I've been kind
That's
of
why I want to
present.
ask you.
Yeah, I've been present on, you know, social media, so it's frustrating for me. Like, I have the Facebook page and the Instagram. Well, a lot of the kids are on Instagram. So I'm getting the inboxes where they're saying, well, they doing this because they only care about the white kids. And that kind of stuff this is going to sit with them forever. You know what I mean? Because that's what they see.
Yeah.
On the whole, children that don't look like me are able to play, and for whatever reason, it's not for me to play. You know, I'm being restricted because of what I look like. That's a deep thing to sit kids with.
And I think it should have been really left up to the parents. Like, okay, we'll let you. Like, if you said, hey, I don't want my kid to play. I don't want my kid to play basketball this year. That's a parent's decision.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? And leave it up to them. And then, just like the suburbs are doing, just like we're doing, if a kid catches COVID, shut down. Okay, 2 weeks later, we're back right back at it. I mean, we don't know how long this thing is going to go on. So what are you going to do then?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. But and then moving forward, do you guys think like what is there anything that we can do like now, like show like to like so our kids aren't just sitting not doing nothing, like
I mean, to be
what
honest,
is possible, like other than transfer out?
What
like,
we're looking at is January 6th. Season ends February. State tournament, if they have one, ends February. So we're not going into March. So now we got kids that well, AU's gonna start earlier. Like she said, they're playing already in different areas. So now it's like a season for what? Now I gotta find an AAU team. But now we're going to mom and pop teams is being thrown together, where kids are getting a disservice of who they're playing with. People trying to have control of different kids, trying to move them here, move them there. So now we have a big dysfunctional city thing going on. Like I said, kids going to suburban schools, playing for different AAU teams now, playing for, let's say, NPS Twilight Rec League. Like, those are the things that we are going to face.
Yes.
So now, how do you hold a kid accountable where they say, well, I don't have no grades this year, I just play AAU?
And then you're gonna have kids that get left behind because they don't have the support at home.
Yeah.
So
Then when we go back, I don't need grades, I just go play this now. Like, I'm straight.
We're already losing children. Like, I know from my son's school, there's a junior on his basketball team, and he was already in a bad situation where he only had one parent, and then his only remaining parent passed away. And like, basketball was his family. He's not like a strong academic student, but so he was going to school. His purpose was basketball. He has not like logged on once this year, not one, because and he has said, he was like, I don't have a purpose, and that's sad to know that he was a junior and now you've completely lost him. And I'm sure there's more beyond him. And so how many students do you have to lose? And not just the education, but the kids that are now out in the streets doing stuff because they don't have anything else to do. And like, one of the things that I've written to MPS about is I'm like, we've lost 16 school-age children in Milwaukee due to homicide since September 1st when school started. How many more do you need to lose? You haven't lost any kids to COVID. These kids need to be active and involved in something and to have a purpose, and their purpose has been completely stripped.
Like I just lost a kid. My AD just texted me, hey, you know this kid? I'm like, yeah, he's a freshman, 3-point grade point average. He's like, well, I just got an email for giving him a release to play Milwaukee Lutheran.
That's what's gonna happen.
So
I'm
losing
just
shit
gonna
is
be
left and
honest.
right now.
That's what's gonna happen. Kids are gonna transfer out and start to play for the suburbs. NPS numbers will tend to drop when these kids start to go say, you know what? Parents will be like, okay, well, you know what? I'm gonna get. I need to let my kid have this opportunity. So parents are gonna move out into those districts so their kids can have that opportunity.
But then the problem I have also is, as us being MPS and supposed to be the stronghold of Wisconsin in sports, why are we setting our standards up to the suburban schools instead of having our own standards? Like it used to be when I played, when you played, when we was on MPS. Everything that some people in MPS want to relate to is, well, we got to do like suburban schools. They got the blueprint from us. So why don't we try to be like them? And Milwaukee City Schools is its own standard, its own identity. We don't have identity with anything. So of course, like you said, I'm going to go suburban in. I know Homestead is going to be open. Milwaukee Lutheran's going to be open. They can use their gyms. They can use their facilities. Saying, guess what? It's just the truth. Like I say, with me being a teacher, I see when I have a class of 40 kids and only 10 is logged in. I mean, you gotta watch your baby sister or brother, or like you said, mom is like, well, you don't go to Milwaukee Lutheran, so you get up out of my house. Like, nobody's looking at that dynamic of it at all.
Well, then there's the other one too, because I have two kids that are still in MPS, right? All these years been advocate of MPS. I have an older daughter who graduated from MPS. I did myself. For my younger one, she's not in sports. This has left such a bad taste in my mouth with how they're doing things.
Even my daughter, she got 20 minutes of school. That don't do
but I
nothing.
can't see myself leaving even my kids. So that's not really what it's supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about bringing families in and helping us to help, you make decisions for my kid. She don't have no kids in this district. I don't know if she got kids, I don't know her, but she don't got none in this district.
Kelsey, she doesn't have any
It should take a village. Like, for
I
example,
don't think any of, to be honest with you, I don't think anybody, I'm sorry, I'm gonna cut you off, but I don't think anybody in MPS administration that are making these decisions have a kid in MPS.
or a kid playing sports in MPS either.
So let me ask you, after you met with, after the Bobby situation, what did Posey say to you?
Posey has said absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Matt Goodwin has absolutely said nothing. The board has said absolutely nothing to me after they got sent a 40-page complaint. They did respond to her.
I know a few of them probably watching this. They're watching this now.
Bobby Kelsey only responded after my first letter to her was back in November the 18th. I didn't get a response until after all the social media stuff, which was well into December. So we're talking after the 4th.
And that's how bad, like that. What made you get to the point where like that you had to feel like you had to like communicate through it like that?
Because I'm not getting no response from nobody, so y'all just gonna be quiet.
You
You know what I mean? So it's like they're gonna say anything.
Outside of Riverside, how many other parents did you guys
Outside of Riverside?
Yeah,
Well, I
Riverside.
connected with her.
So my son's Golden my year, and then he plays for Riverside. But like that, we didn't know that when we first connected.
Mhm.
It's like we just connected, and those two parents that are like really feeling for these student athletes and feel they need advocates.
Right, and her daughter's at King.
King.
Mhm.
Mine's at
MSF.
So I got one more question. So do y'all think like, what if y'all did like a protest outside of the building
I said
They
to
ain't
get
even in there.
They're not in the building. That's it. That's been the thing.
just to get
Just to get the publicity. I see.
going,
Yeah,
because I mean that makes stuff move really. You know,
it
the
does.
news come out, they see all of these parents out there. You know, like hey, our kids deserve this. You know, or at least some type of explanation. I mean, just to put it out there.
You have, and I'm sorry, I'm finna throw you on the spot, but you have parents. Everybody is not gonna be like, I don't like cameras and all of that stuff either. You know what I mean? But when I have something to say, I have something to say, no matter how it comes out. Everybody is not that way. So when you have somebody like Miss Diane who feel like, it's really not my area, I can help behind the scenes, that becomes an issue because I know the numbers are there because I hear it, but they're not visible. You see what I'm saying? So you have those type of parents. It's not just her, it's been other parents too. Where it's like, well, can you come out? You know, or the other thing is you have some who are tied into the district. They work for the district, that's their employer.
And then there's some who are like, my husband, he used to sit on the board and coach AU girls basketball, and he actually used to coach for Golda. And his concern is, like, with me talking out and speaking out in all the emails I've sent, communications I've had, he feels that my son is going to end up getting the downfall of it, that MPS is going to turn around and do something to him
Yep.
for
That's the other
speaking
fear.
up. So
Yeah,
there's
I ain't
that
gonna
fear
say
as
the
well.
problem that my family might have after you, but it is.
There is that fear though because it's the city, so everything is so attached.
Yeah.
So there is that fear. You know, it's think, well, how they gonna treat Sydney? At this point, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. You can't do nothing worse to her than you've done at this point. Like you just can't. You know, and it's a moment for me to teach my daughter that when somebody is not doing you right or something doesn't seem right, you can't just sit on it because you're scared of the repercussions. Bottom line.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And I hope there isn't any repercussions. I mean, we want our children to speak out on things when they see something going wrong. And it should be the same for adults. I mean, if it was the other way around, if parents was doing wrong, they would call us out on it anyway. I mean, let's just be real about it. But it should be any repercussions because we're speaking out on want to be heard about a situation that should be just told like, hey, this is what we're gonna do, or this is what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing of like this whole conversation today. Like that's all we want, like even an answer. Like even if y'all say no or like it just deny it, like just let them know, let the parents know, and the coaches know like what's going on, so they can have a plan for our children in the city and all that. So.
Yeah, well, you provide that platform. You know, you provide that platform for the students to be able to say what they think, the parents to be able to put their piece in, because the communication is the only piece that's gonna solve a lot of this. You know what I mean? So when you keep it silent,
That's all it's about. It's like we're not gonna get all rowdy. Like we can still communicate like that. I think
you know,
the
but
fears
to me,
of-
like I say, that's just a sign of I don't want to resolve it. I said no. You know, like we kids, I said no, and it's no. Like that's not okay to do that. It's just not.
But it's like, say we're all adults, so we should be able to have open dialogue without a repercussion. Because this is bigger than basketball, also in sports. That's what people are forgetting. Like you said, it's the mental illness and health of kids right now, also that's going on that nobody's touching on. And sports is a getaway from it. If I can go away from an abusive household, or I don't have nothing to eat at home, but when I'm in school, I get 3 meals, I get to practice, I'm with my friends, my brothers. That's the difference between going home for 4 hours and have to deal with it than deal with it for 8 hours.
And then you get to ask the questions, because one of my biggest questions is with this, where they talked about a whole plan about phasing the students in, right? So you got phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, which phase 2 is supposed to be a hybrid, right? With the hybrid, you have in-person, some from home. To me, I don't see why athletics couldn't qualify as phase 2, because they love to say it's an extension of the classroom. I want to ask that question,
But
but I
then you
can't.
also have to look at, like with me being a teacher and the reality of it. When you have 40 kids in the classroom, and we're talking about old MPS buildings, there's no way you're gonna get 6 feet, 6 feet, 6 feet, 6
Correct.
feet. Even if it's hybrid, you cut that down from 40 to 20, you're still not getting 6 feet, 6 feet, 6 feet.
Correct.
It's no way possible.
Yeah.
Unless you put kids in the hallway and put them all over the place. Now my only gripe is also is, now we have kids that are special ed. They should be in the building. Because you can spread out 100, 200 special ed kids that need to interact every day, need extra help. So now we're talking about kids who aren't getting that extra help that they should get from the, per state law, they're not getting. So now what do? Nobody has an answer for that either. It's just,
and in my personal problem, I'm not even gonna cut you off, it's just like, even I have like a younger daughter, so like they get like 20 minutes 3 days a week in school. Like, what does that do? And she's 4, so like they need that interaction to grow. Like, so they ain't really growing. Like, you gotta interact with some kids and stuff like that. Just like a few play days here and there ain't gonna do it. And like, that's like what, like that's just like, well, imagine you not having, you missing out on first grade K4. Like
my daughter is
That's all about
7. She's 7 now. She never got closure from March.
That's
So
what I
she's
said.
like,
Yeah.
I didn't get to say goodbye. We had no end of the year party.
Parties.
So the computer stuff is
my daughter don't even think it's school right
exactly.
now.
Like the computer stuff is cool and fine, but now when you have to use it every day, it's not fun anymore. The TikTok isn't fun anymore. The Facebook isn't fun because now it's your daily function. It was cool to do some work, check my phone real quick. Now it's like I'm doing my whole class on my phone because my hotspot's not working, so I can't really do the other things. So it's sort of point. I'm like, just put my phone down. I'm going to sleep. Yeah, my daughter, she be like, Dad, I'll take me a nap. Like,
I'm
get
gonna
your work, go ahead,
all
baby.
day.
But
All day.
it's just sad. Like, at the end of the day, like she said, no communication with nothing, no closure. That's all everybody wants. Yes or no, close the case. That's it.
Like, I'd also like to see, like, they've said they presented a plan that was turned down to the city, but no one will present the plan that was shown to the city.
What plan? Like a health plan?
Correct.
Mm.
And so nobody's showing this plan, so it's like, why aren't you showing a plan? If it exists, you should be able to share it. It's a public school, like, why can you not share those documents with us? Why are they so secretive?
I also asked for that too.
So they're not gonna, I talked to the health department.
Who don't understand, like you said, Milwaukee, what's going on, and got their own motive. What can you do? I mean, shit, it's just it's fucked up that it's like that, but it's everybody has different motives for what they're doing right now. And this is a perfect time where you can get over on people, you can move yourself up because you made your way through the pandemic and you look good, all types of stuff. Like, look at what's going on in DC right now, in Kenosha. Like, it's opportunists and users right now. And if you're one of those, you winning.
Yeah, definitely. I hear you on that, and that's a good point. But then you were talking about
The health department. So I personally talked to the health department, and I personally talked to them about MPS. And my question to them, first off, was the plan, can it be made public? And they said no. So we will never probably see that plan. Secondly, I asked them, okay, so,
did they give you a reason why we wouldn't see it? Just not to cut you off.
no, it's just, they
That's
just, no,
just
they
what it
didn't,
is,
it's just what it is. They didn't, their stuff was not public for everybody to view.
Right.
So then I asked them about, turning down like a proposal or anything that, any of the schools may,
Bring to them.
actually it's the district, not the school, but the district. And they told me exactly that they would not just turn anybody's proposal down. They will work with them to get it to where they will have it safe. That's what they told me. So for whoever's saying they say, I mean.
Well, I mean, and if you look at the words, MPS has never said that the Milwaukee Health Department told them no. They just said that they worked with them. And then they came to this decision. There's no doubt that this is an MPS decision.
So I saw an email that was sent to a coach where an AD said that their program was rejected, like that whatever their proposal was rejected. So I don't know if that was truthful or not. So it was an email that had me highly upset because it was also an email where the coaches were told they weren't getting paid, which I have a whole issue with that as well. Because I think these coaches honestly care about these students more so than administration, and I know they're like interacting with these kids and making sure they're mentally sound right now.
Right.
And so that's where I saw the notification that they're saying that there was a proposal and the coaches that I'm aware of were told that it was rejected.
So, and that's what I was gonna say, to clarify, they've never put it on paper to the public. This is an MPS decision. Now, what they told the people that work for them in private is different. And it has been different, because I've seen some of those emails. They tell them things that are not the truth.
Do you think are there any ways that like it's just like we gotta go above and beyond to make it work? Do you think like you gotta come with them, like put pressure, like here's a plan, this is the reason, and like constant, like what you said, protest, or like constant.
I think if the numbers were there, I think if the numbers were there and people were visible, I think even with us too, and she had her little tweets or whatever she wants to put on there because you're feeling hot under the collar about just 2 people.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't
imagine
know that.
20,
Yeah.
imagine 40,
Just
imagine 50. You can't even handle 2.
Bring more eyes to it.
You know what I mean? You're feeling the pressure from 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, if people were doing the numbers, that would make a difference.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So like pretty much like in my type of way, putting pressure on it, pretty much.
Because even when, you know, some of us parents, you know, were able to send out emails, the email I got, it was signed by her. Well, it wasn't even sent by her. I don't even know who the chick was who sent it to me.
They keep sending stuff from the finance office.
But it's the same letter.
It's the
that she
same
sent.
letter they're
So
sending to everyone.
you're not even personal with your parents who have a complaint. You're sending this mass, just, here you go, send that. It's just this mass email, that's it.
Copy and paste. I said no, and then some of her solutions are, well, they can go play somewhere else.
Yeah.
Well, every kid can't afford that.
That's what she said.
Yeah, that's what she said.
That's what she came out and said.
Oh, that's her thing. Yeah, they can go play somewhere else.
This ain't college. This ain't the pros.
Well, you can't say go play somewhere else, but then we're talking about keeping our kids in MPS. That doesn't make sense.
Well, league, AAU. That's what she's talking about.
Or she said parents could get together and put together teams, but obviously you can't associate by school name, you can't use school equipment, you can't use school locations. And again, then that's just disrupting the whole MPS like system. If it's like, okay, I'm a parent, let me go and get together like 15 kids for this team, and then to come up with the resources for that as well.
So then you open up the can of worms to where you say
the same
okay,
thing.
make our own teams.
Yeah.
So when it's time for city basketball, they're gonna do their own thing. Cause I coach AAU also.
Well, not just that. These are the same kids that you're trying to pull back into the school. So instead of me controlling it and it being safely done, I'm gonna let y'all willy-nilly do it. And then these gonna be the same kids getting all together in the buildings or in games. That's unsafe.
Yep.
Like, that's not even a good idea. And this is why I think that dialogue is not happening, because I get to then ask you that question. How does that look? How does that sound? Is that really plausible?
Yeah.
No. And everybody can't afford it.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a can of worms. That's all it is. Because like you said, okay, I don't need grades no more. I don't have to play for Riverside. I have to play for King. I can play AU year round. Now that gives AU an opportunity to come in and say, well, forget high school basketball, period. We're just going to take over. Which, I coach AAU. That's what they're talking about doing. You're not going to play. You're going to play for your Milwaukee elite team. You're going to play in Arizona a couple of sessions, come back, and then go and play in Florida. That's what's going to happen if you open that can of worms. Because, like, to be honest, in the city conference, we have kids that are good, and then we have some that aren't good that just want the camaraderie. But our best kids that play basketball or got scholarships, we won't have that anymore. Like right now, we have one kid in NPS that has college basketball offers. One kid, he's a junior, he plays for me. Other than that, no other male basketball player has any offers. Now the girls' side is way more, but now you're talking about, like you said, your daughter's leaving, going to Homestead, Thomas More. So you have your Riverside, your MSL powerhouses, not powerhouses no more. And then you say, oh, we need to get more games and play 24 games. How? You want us to lose by 80 to Arrowhead? Just for camaraderie? No, you're beating kids down already. Like, it does make sense when you say things like that, like go play elsewhere.
How you gonna get all the way out there? How you gonna pick out which suburban school you gonna get to and all that?
Because you think they're not gonna be like, come on out here?
Yeah.
Let's just be for real.
Yeah, come on here, but are they gonna let them play?
And they're gonna have their picks, exactly. They're gonna have their picks. So you gonna sit right there? at the
Yeah,
end
you
of
gonna
the
sit
bench?
right
'Cause
there
I
at the
already
end of the
had
bench.
My people.
Yep,
I
because
just
I already
said
have my
just in
kids,
case.
yep.
Listen, them suburban schools are,
MPS gonna turn down that appeal for you to allow you to play too.
them suburban schools are licking their chops right now. Like if this goes on, I know who I'm gonna go get from this school. I know who I'm gonna go get from here. I know who I'm gonna go get from here. And it's nothing that you can do as a coach or MPS because y'all don't got school or season.
How do coaches in like the suburban leagues or like like not the Milwaukee leagues, like if you coach at Brown Deer, like how do they think about it? What are their thoughts about like what's going on?
Really, we just tell our kids that y'all are fortunate right now and just be take advantage of the opportunity that you have because there's thousands of kids that's not playing right now. You know, so every day you step in here, just make sure you're taking advantage of the opportunity and being thankful for it because there's so many kids that ain't having the opportunity that you having. And then also, man, it's just, really being cautious with it, everything that you do, because it's still certain things we can't do. Like, we haven't been able to do like a team bonding things either with them still because, they want us to really social distance it. But it really is just making sure that you're thankful and taking advantage of every opportunity that you can at this point.
Yeah. I want to ask you this: what ways do you think it affected like your daughter, like both of your daughters being freshmen and not being able to experience nothing? Like they just went to middle school and they haven't. That's all. Like they haven't experienced freshman year or nothing. Like
Well, I
they
mean,
just.
like I said before, it's just unfortunate that they're not going because they're not experiencing it at all. My daughter, she expresses it sometimes. She's like, man, I wish I can. I'm missing all my stuff, she'll express that. Which they really are. And that's what she's expressing. She's at home. She don't get to do anything, like nothing. And it's like it is, it's starting to like Shani and I. When we started, we just like, dude, Fridays we gonna have game night with the kids, stuff like that. But it's it's still like. There's so much you can do for them, and like I said, they're missing their whole experience right now. Now you going back to school, you're a sophomore. You done missed your whole entire freshman
They don't
year.
get that back or nothing.
Like,
You never get it back. Nope.
You'll never get that back.
Well, and none of the kids have been in school or socializing since last year, March.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
you don't get the homecomings, you don't get the proms.
No.
Like it's like I said, it's bigger than basketball.
It's bigger.
It's stuff you
Yes.
can't get back. You can't walk across the stage. Like
Just every day school,
Somebody
school,
have
just every day
something.
being with the people.
Like,
Like,
how fun is that? I can't even remember who it was. It was just like a couple of kids. It was like a virtual homecoming. I'm like,
What is that?
that's the whole. I mean, it's something that they did. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to down it too bad, but it's like
Nobody's going to that.
yeah. So what do you think your plans would be like if she Miss Bobby or whatever her name is doesn't respond or nothing and it keeps on going silent? Like, cause now I think that now that this conversation happens, we're gonna really hopefully people start hearing it and we get together and put more pressure and she listens to us and has a conversation.
Well, and that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
I mean, because the numbers are important. If the numbers aren't there, the conversation is never gonna happen. It's just not. I mean,
Right.
she's made that perfectly clear. Even in her correspondence to her, people that are employed there, saying, we're not changing our mind. Okay, well, you're not changing your mind about what? It being postponed or is it canceled? You see what I'm saying? Because your wordplay is like feeling. You've canceled the season. You just don't want to say that on paper. You know what I mean? So it's not going to happen without the numbers.
Yeah.
And they're directing people to what is it? What meeting is that? Board meeting. At the end of January.
which
January 25th, 26th.
I gotta look on I put it.
Where they are saying that you can sign up to register to talk. First of all, January 26th is so far out. MPS is behind. Like, y'all being reactive, not proactive. Like, we need real-time conversations.
Yeah.
Real
I
time.
have to check because I keep going back to the meeting page, and it was something, and I don't know if it was that one. and it says on the bottom that nobody's gonna be able to speak, so I have to look at that again.
And they keep saying that
So-
people can register to
Right.
speak
Correct.
when they open it up, but that's not the way it's presenting on the site. And that's even if you can find the link on their site.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I feel even if you speak, because I attended one of the past, actually I attended the past 2 meetings, and there was one that went to 11 p.m. and there was so many parents and students that spoke up about why they should even open up or move to the next level, to the hybrid model. And they had already made their minds up. They didn't listen to any, it was just to say, it was just to appease and oh, well, we took in people's insight. They don't care. They know what they're doing now. And actually, someone did call me this week. Her name was Laura Greb. She says she's Bobby Kelsey's boss. I don't know how true that is. She works for Milwaukee Rec. And she kept calling a postponement, and that's where my frustration was. I'm like, this is 3 seasons you're talking about now. Quit using the word postponement, because these were cancellations. Because are you, like I said, postponement means you delayed and you're having all these seasons. I'm like, are you having your last spring season? Are you having your fall season? Are you having your winter season? She's like, well, we're in the middle of the winter season right now. I said, yeah, but no decision is being made. No one's saying anything. And then she was like, and we're supposed to be moving some of the stuff into the fall stuff into the spring. I said, spring is right around the corner. You would have to be, have all this stuff figured out by now.
Well, that's their sprawl. They call that sprawl.
And I think they're purposely doing that because they know more kids can leave. Because I guarantee you, they don't have football in spring. I'm pulling all 3 of my children, my daughter and my 2 sons, from MPS.
Yeah.
They will not be in MPS if they played this game with them for football.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I honestly feel it's a game.
Yeah, it's like you wasted the whole. You got to, otherwise, nothing to do. So I definitely understand that.
And the bad part about her email at the very end, which shows you that she don't want to have this conversation, is that she tells you to, if you have more questions, go talk to your prospective athletic director. So she don't want to have this conversation. She's putting it off on them to where you're the one who's making this decision. So why are we gonna talk to them for when they get secondhand information from you? So let's have this conversation.
And there's nothing harmful about saying, hey, especially when you're really trying to be solution oriented with anything. That's just leadership. You know what I mean? That's just saying, okay, let me just put something together so we can all sit at the table and talk. You know what I mean? And say, what are they thinking? Tell them where I'm coming from, you know what I mean? And can we come to a resolve? That's not happening. That's the farthest thing from leadership. And she's, I don't know what this actually means, but her official title is the Commissioner of Athletics and Academics. I want to know what that means.
Yeah. I don't know.
No, I really do.
Yeah.
Now I really want to know what that means.
Yeah.
Because what else are you over?
Yeah. Well, I think, was there anything that anything that anyone wants to add to this one? The biggest thing I think I got out of this was just we need to make sure everybody, not just all the parents in the city, even just people in the city, we go out and we make it known we care. Let's just give us answers. Let us know what's going on.
Or you give coaches, players, parents a chance to opt out. That's it. Just like in college. You want to play? Just in the NFL, you have guys you know what? My daughter has a bad immune system. I'm not playing. Nothing's wrong with that. It's just like she said. Everybody just want an option. She might have some stuff that I don't have. She might have something that she doesn't have that we bring to the table and say, hey, how about we try this? How about we put all the South Side teams, they play each other 3 or 4 times in one building. The North Side team play on one side. You take 10 days off, then you switch everybody. Boom, there you go. It's ways to do it, things like she said.
Even with the thing being, okay, well, you have something that's going to play AAU, the culture of the 2 different leagues are totally different. And they should have the opportunity to be able to play with their peers that they go to school with. That dynamic is just totally different than the kids I'm with during the summer. It's just different, so they should be afforded that opportunity to do that.
Because we talk MPS pride and school pride, but how can you have it when you're not playing with your school? Like she said, I went to the old Tech and I coach at Tech. So I have a sense of pride for coaching and playing. So how do we make these kids have pride in anything when you're just telling them, go play somewhere else? So now when they get to the real world, you know what? I don't like this job today. I'm out of here. That's my main thing too. We're giving them bad habits in life. and we're older. Some of them got to take care of us. We gonna be in trouble because they're like, I don't feel like cleaning this person today or getting their meds. I'm out of here. It all correlates into real life, and that's what a lot of people just aren't looking at.
You know, well, how is it gonna look even on their transcripts from them missing school last year? They got, what was it, pass or fail?
Yeah,
Colleges don't look at pass or fail.
I had a kid who worked very hard to get a 3.5, so he can get his core G page when he go to Division I. When he came pass fail, he's like, "Oh man, coach, I did all this for this." I'm like,
Right.
keep trying, you can do
So
it.
you already a step behind, and now you losing ground with that step. This is a further step behind. We already were at a deficit. Like, what are they going to be able to get jobs when they get out of
So
school?
they're hindering them academically and athletically.
Mm-hmm.
Because the good part is with the colleges, you don't really need ACT scores anymore. You know, a lot of them are just letting you on an ACT score, but now we need that core GPA to kick up. Like she said, you got a whole semester of just pass fails.
And they still haven't said anything about the ACT either. This the year my daughter's supposed to take the ACT. They haven't, she's been asking. They still haven't given an answer.
Just you have to, from what I've heard, you have to be in the building to do it. So you
Yeah.
can't do it virtually.
Can't do it
Oh, yeah,
virtually.
you can't.
You can't,
watch
so-
it, you know how it goes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. But they had a driver's ed though.
Oh,
Exactly.
But you got to pay for that.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, like the money, government got
Y'all see the
Money
common thing
coming
here,
in,
all the
yeah.
stuff that's coming to the building, you have to pay for it.
Well, even with how they're saying it's not safe for them to have the athletics and they're having the twilight, but then how did you rent out your Vincent and a couple other football fields to another football program in the city? And so, and some of those kids are MPS kids, but you're like Vincent couldn't play on their own field, but you're saying these city kids from all over the city can play on Vincent's football field because they got money for it.
Now they talking
It's
about
not.
contact tracing now. Because like you said, you have kids from all over.
Mm-hmm.
Might have 5 in one house, 10 in one house. So now,
And she wanted to talk about how, like, with the, well, MPS has a special population of kids. We have to do things that other districts don't have to do, such as security and things like that. But my thing is, it's an easy solution. Don't have spectators.
Yeah, that's been an easy solution though. They overdo it
But,
anyway.
Yeah,
So.
I mean,
but even outside of that, they have the money.
They
And
do.
they got an increased amount because I know because it doubled my tax bill this year and it went to MPS.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have all this extra funding and you're not spending a lot with like spending anything in some of these areas. So what are you doing with this money? You're not paying coaches, you're not paying anything for transportation for the athletics. They're still getting their full salaries though for not doing anything. So that's been another thing of mine. So I'm like some of these coaches, I said they're talking to these children every
Still
single day, trying to make sure they're keeping their grades up, trying to help them get video highlights together and getting them still to apply to colleges with what they do have.
Yeah.
But you're not gonna pay them like the measly couple hundred or thousand, depending what they are to pay them, but you're still collecting your full salary and you're not doing anything.
Maintenance is still in the
Can't just
building,
talk
ain't
to
no
them.
students.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's still there.
They
It's
got
just,
bugs.
you
Yeah.
get fined and it's so hard.
I mean, I'm just saying, you know, it's just none of it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's all ass backwards. I hate to say it that way, but it's all ass backwards.
Where they have, like with my daughter's school, they have CLCs running in the school, so all those kids are in the school, but my daughter isn't allowed in the school.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's okay.
How do you do that?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Because it's a outside agency that runs the CLC.
Are they getting funding under or?
Yeah, it's a partnership.
They
It's a
pay them.
partnership, yeah.
Well,
That's what it's about. So yeah.
So to have a season and you can't have spectators, you're not making no money.
Right. So, yeah.
And it
That's
threatens to have to bring them back into the building because then there's going to be pressure saying, well, they playing sports, so why they can't go to class?
Where that hurts them in the long run is when you wonder why people leave and don't give back. Like, I've already told him yes. I said my son will never get back to go to a Riverside. I was like, he'll get back to like Chapman Basketball Academy that's allowing him to play at their facility or practice or train. Like, why he can't do anything with MPS. I was like, he would not give you a cent ever. Like when he's at that point, I was like, and most other people should give money to MPS going forward because you're not there for them. Like you just completely left them.
Yeah, I believe it. If you look at like Washington alumni, it's crazy on there. Like, they got so many like famous people back from like who the
I'm a girl older.
exactly like the old mayor Herb Cole might have went there.
The guy from
The
Willy Wonka,
Willy
the
Wonka Chocolate Factory went there. Like Bud Selig went. Like not maybe I might be saying it wrong, but like so many like people like actually did something and you would never know, and they get back a little bit, but then you see like, if that's all y'all did with the money with the school, like y'all only did that, like y'all still got the rubber stuff on the gym, like that's what y'all fixed.
They don't allow, what they do is it has to go to each school. So like Carl Landry wanted to donate a floor to Vincent, and they told him no. And Vincent needed a whole new floor.
Oh, yeah.
It's bad. It's the worst floor probably.
It's like North Division.
Yeah, it's like North Division. They all need a new floor, but they want to split it between the schools because they said it's unfair. No, it's not unfair.
If he wants to give
Yeah,
his
it's what
money
it
to
is.
that
It's
school, why he
Right.
can't give his money to that school?
Yeah,
You can't be upset if somebody's alumni base is bigger than somebody else's.
Exactly.
When you're having a high turnover rate and you're not really branding the culture, what do you expect? I mean, this how it goes. Like we have the biggest alumni base probably in Milwaukee. Tech won't be doing a picnic every year.
I'm big
Like-
for picnics.
It's like you build that culture, you get it. But like you said, if you're not putting forth the effort, why would I give back? For what? I don't know where it's going to.
yeah,
I don't have no sense of pride. I'm not doing it.
yeah. Definitely, that makes that. I definitely get that. And I appreciate y'all. Yeah, so it taught me a lot. I learned even more than what I knew, and I feel like I can go way more harder and just like even just posting more stuff on social media and just sending it to more people and just like making sure this video comes out right away so all you guys know what's going on in Milwaukee public school systems, like how our kids are being hurt on the field or athletically and just naturally just going with
all the way around.
Yeah, so it doesn't stop. So I appreciate you guys for coming and hopefully you guys get a lot out of it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, and thanks for coming again, everybody.
And thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
No problem.
Yeah.